Dear Workplace Therapist, I have worked for a company of about 80 employees for 2 years now, and I generally enjoy the work that I do and the company I work for. However, there is a member of my team that I do not get along with. Actually, it's not that we don't get along, it's that I simply do not respect her work ethic. She seems to constantly be on a break or away from her desk when we're working virtually, and when she's in the office, I don't know what she does. When we work together on assignments, she never seems to have the information she's supposed to, and I feel like I'm always having to cover for her or help her perform tasks that she should be able to do on her own. Of course, she's one of those people who comes in late and leaves early on top of it all. My employer, like many right now, is trying to hire people to fill spots, so I don't expect that she would be fired or moved to another department because they just need people right now. But how am I supposed to deal with her incompetence in the meantime? Signed, trying to work with what I've got.
Okay. Interesting. So maybe just because it's the conversation we just came off of, but one of my first reactions is, from our last conversation, what about this person is triggering to you? So I think that's a really good kind of starting place. So part of it is there's clearly a values mismatch here.
Right.
The way you treat work, the way you view work ethic is different than how this person views work ethic. So there's a difference in stylistic approaches, in values that are kind of underlying how you work. And going back to one of the conversations that I had recently with a guest, we talked about kind of that need for that perfectionism. So maybe you're more of a perfectionist and this person isn't, and that's just bothering you because you're expecting them to operate the same way. So part of it is self-reflection. I think that's part of it. Now, there are some points in the story that I think are important that could be issues. So, for example, I think, if we go back to the story, isn't there some points around there where they're not getting the work they need or from that person, or the person's not fulfilling their end of the kind of, okay.
It sounds like she may have, maybe she doesn't know how to do certain things that she should be able to.
Okay. So if we take it for kind of face value, that when you get stuck on a project with this person, you end up carrying most of the weight or more than 50%, more than your fair share. Now we're getting into boundaries. Okay, so now we're into boundaries as an important thing that you need to be establishing, okay? Because it's not your job to do your job and their job for them. Okay, they're probably, the way it's written, their peers probably making the same salary. So, it's their manager's job to hold them accountable for that. And I've had cases where I've had clients where they've covered for somebody else, and that just prolonged the problem.
Right.
Because the manager thought that person was doing their job. Turns out that person wasn't doing their job, and you were doing two people's jobs. And then guess what? You're going to get resentful because you're working extra hours while that person's, hanging out and having coffee. So then you're more likely to leave. Manager's unhappy about that because they didn't realize you were the workhorse. So how do you resolve that? Early on in the project, be really, really clear with this person what your expectations are for you and them. So just have some conversations around, okay, I'll do this part and you can do that part, and you have to get it to me by this date. Okay, and just and then hold them to that. If they don't get it to you and you're unable to complete your task, then you need to be able to come share with their manager. I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to deliver on your expectations because I've been unable to get what I need from this person, and I could really use your assistance with this. So you can gently kind of bring them in, but make sure that they're aware of the situation. And of course, one more thing is whenever you're trying to hold someone accountable, it always helps in those conversations to get them to repeat back to you what they're promising. So if she or he says, they agree that they're going to get you to kind of their portion of the report by Friday at 5:00, you got to say, okay, so let's revisit real quickly what our commitments are to each other, and get them to say it. That increases accountability by 50%, but you can get another person to actually say it out loud.